Good evening, folks. In a world where talent shows come and go faster than your favorite snack at a midnight craving, few names ever echo the way Courtney did. Picture this: a shy British schoolgirl walks onto the America's Got Talent stage in 2018, looking like she'd rather be anywhere else, maybe even doing math homework. The judges smile politely, the audience braces for another nervous rendition of a pop song, and then bam. The music drops, Courtney lets out a raspy growl straight from the soul of 1960s rock, and the room collectively forgets how to breathe. Eyebrows hit orbit, slams the golden buzzer like he's launching a rocket, and confetti rains down like it's payday at the Emotion Factory. Overnight, the internet crowns her the reincarnation of Joplin, while every reaction channel on YouTube starts printing money from the replay button. But behind the glitter and noise, something deeper brewed, a story not of fame and fortune, but of pressure, burnout, and heartbreak. Because for Courtney, that viral moment wasn't the end of a dream. It was just the start of an emotional that made even the AGT stage look tame. Rumors, controversies, and career roadblocks soon turned her into a tabloid puzzle. And while her voice could shake walls, the silence that followed years later would shake fans even harder. What really happened to Courtney after the cameras stopped rolling? Grab your popcorn, folks. This isn't just another "Where Are They Now" story. It's a mix of brilliance, bad luck, and a reminder that fame can be as wild as her hair during that first jaw-dropping performance. Stay tuned, because things are about to go from standing ovations to standing questions. The meteoric rise and the media mayhem. After that golden buzzer moment, Courtney didn't just walk off the AGT stage, she moonwalked straight into global fame. Within hours, her audition racked up millions of views. Everyone from grandmas in Ohio to rock bands in Manchester was talking about that kid who sings like she swallowed a jukebox from the 70s. Reporters hounded her for interviews. Talent scouts circled like hungry pigeons at a park bench, and the internet crowned her the next big thing before she'd even finished high school. Sounds dreamy, right? Well, fame is a tricky friend. It loves you loud, then leaves you quiet. The media called her the future of rock, but others weren't so kind. Some accused her of being too old-sounding for her age, others claimed her stage persona was too rehearsed, as if passion now required a permission slip. Poor Courtney couldn't sneeze without someone online debating whether it was a PR stunt. Behind the lights and the hype, the teenage prodigy faced the same problem every overnight celebrity does: how to keep up with a legend you didn't even mean to create. Every performance was compared to her first, every note analyzed like it held the secret to world peace. Yet through it all, she smiled, a little nervously, sure, but still determined to prove she wasn't a one-hit wonder. Her parents tried to shield her from the chaos, though let's be honest, shielding a viral star is like trying to hide a fireworks show under a blanket. The more she tried to just be herself, the more people wanted her to be the next Joplin. It was the kind of pressure that could make even the souls start yelling at a toaster. But Courtney, she just kept singing, maybe a little louder, maybe a little braver. And if you thought the whirlwind stopped there, oh, buckle up. Because the fame train was about to derail faster than can say, I didn't see that coming. The backlash from Golden Girl to Target Online. It didn't take long for the internet to do what it does best: turn applause into arguments. After Courtney's dazzling rise, the same crowd that cheered her name started sharpening their comment section knives. Some fans said she was overhyped, others claimed her growling rock vocals were fake or forced. One even wrote, she sounds like a 60-year-old trapped in a teenager's body, which to be fair sounds like either an insult or a time travel movie pitch. The poor girl couldn't win. When she stayed true to her wild, old-school sound, critics called her a gimmick. But when she tried to tone it down, they accused her of losing her spark. Welcome to the internet, where even if you walk on water, someone will complain you're ruining their shoes. Meanwhile, every move Courtney made was dissected. People questioned her authenticity, her coaching, even her hair choices, as if rock legends come with salon vouchers. The media hyped her up as the savior of real music, then gleefully tore her down for not releasing a hit single fast enough. And if that sounds harsh, imagine being a teenager trying to finish homework while strangers online debate your soul. The girl who once set the AGT stage on fire suddenly found herself burnt by the same spotlight. It was a cruel twist: one moment you're the internet's sweetheart, the next you're the meme of the week. But Courtney never clapped back or threw tantrums on social media. Instead, she pulled off the most rebellious move of all: silence. No drama, no replies, just music. Still, fans couldn't help but wonder, was she retreating to create or just trying to heal? Because behind every viral sensation lies the one thing fame rarely gives: peace and quiet. The record deal, the silence, and the strange disappearance. After America's Got Talent wrapped up, it seemed like Courtney's future was set in glittering stone. She'd been offered a record deal under music's own label, a dream gig for most contestants. Cameras followed her every step, interviews kept popping up, and fans eagerly awaited her debut album. Everyone expected a chart-topping release that would cement her as rock's rebel, but then nothing. Weeks turned into months, and months turned into the sound of crickets. The fans waited, the press speculated, and Courtney, she vanished from the headlines like a magician's final act. Even, usually the loudest guy in the room, stayed mysteriously quiet. Some joked that Courtney was in the studio perfecting the world's longest guitar solo, while others whispered darker theories, burnout, breakdown, or battles behind closed doors. The music unexpectedly folded. It was like someone pulled the plug mid-performance. Courtney's career hit pause before it even hit play. Fans began scouring the internet for updates, and YouTube comments turned into detective clubs. Whereas Courtney became the new Who Shot JR of talent show history. Rumors flew maybe she'd switched labels, maybe she'd left music, or maybe, as one wild fan theory claimed, she was secretly recording under a stage name to escape the pressure. It was like watching a rock fade into mist. The same voice that once shook millions had gone completely silent. Yet if you listen closely, there was still a hum beneath the silence, because while the world thought Courtney had disappeared, she was actually gearing up for a comeback no one saw coming. And trust me, the next part of her story proves that fame might pause, but it doesn't always stop the music. The rumors, the bus accident, and the darker whispers. As Courtney's public appearances dried up, the rumor factory switched into overdrive. When the internet doesn't get answers, it invents them faster than can raise an eyebrow. Some fans claimed she was injured in a bus accident that left her with a fractured knee and mild concussion. Others whispered that she'd gone through a mental health spiral, pushed to the edge by fame and criticism. And then came the most bizarre story of all. A viral Facebook post suggesting that Courtney's parents once found her holding scissors near her throat, not to end her life, but supposedly to ruin her singing voice forever. Now, before you gasp too hard, let's get this straight. There's no evidence for that claim. It's the internet after all. If it can make people believe the earth is flat, it can easily make up a rock star meltdown. Still, the rumors painted a picture of a teenager struggling to navigate a world that demanded perfection at every turn. Fame had arrived like a lightning strike, bright, loud, and leaving smoke behind. But Courtney wasn't the type to post tearful tick or start Twitter wars. Instead, she went quiet, leading fans to wonder if something was seriously wrong. Even her biggest champion avoided the subject, which only added fuel to the conspiracy bonfire. Some claimed she was in rehab, others said she was being by the industry, because apparently pop stars are now Wi-Fi routers. The truth, as always, sat somewhere in between. Behind the scenes, Courtney was simply trying to heal, rediscover her sound, and live like a normal teenager for the first time in years. And as it turned out, that quiet period wasn't a fall from grace, it was the calm before a creative storm. Because when she finally resurfaced, the girl everyone thought was broken came back swinging harder than ever. The comeback nobody saw coming. Just when everyone assumed Courtney had hung up her microphone for good, bam, out of nowhere, she dropped new music like a ninja with a Fender guitar. Her comeback wasn't some overproduced PR stunt with champagne and glitter. It was raw, real, and refreshingly independent. Songs like Breakable and Monsters showcased a new side of her, less screaming rock goddess, more soulful storyteller who'd been through the storm and lived to sing about it. Gone was the nervous teen with shaky hands and wild hair. In her place stood a young woman who looked straight into the camera and basically said, "Yeah, I've been through and I'm still here." Fans who once worried she'd disappeared suddenly flooded the comments with "she's back," while a few skeptics quietly deleted their "whatever happened to" tweets. But Courtney's return wasn't backed by major label hype or golden spotlight this time. It was just her grinding independently, writing her own music, and even producing her own videos. Think of it as a rock and roll version of if you want something done right, do it yourself. And honestly, it worked. Her vocals were still thunder in a bottle, but now they carried emotion, maturity, and grit that can't be taught on any stage. It was like she'd gone from teenage prodigy to seasoned artist without the help of an industry puppet master. Of course, the internet being the internet, there were still critics. Some joked she was now Courtney because of her emotional lyrics. But hey, at least they were talking again. And in the age of social media, silence is the real career killer. Courtney had turned her heartbreak into a headline, and this time she was writing it herself. The struggles behind the independence. Now, don't let the word independent fool you into thinking Courtney's new era was all sunshine and backstage snacks. Being an indie artist is like trying to run a marathon while juggling flaming microphones. It looks cool, but it's exhausting. After parting ways with big label management, Courtney signed briefly with M2S Agency in 2024. On paper, it sounded perfect. Fresh start, creative control, freedom to rock without the corporate leash. But in reality, things got as awkward as trying to dance. The gigs were scarce, the promo minimal, and before long, fans noticed she wasn't performing anywhere major. Rumors flew faster than paparazzi at a wedding. Some said the agency wasn't delivering. Others claimed Courtney was done with the industry altogether. Either way, the silence was louder than her guitar amp. Eventually, she left M2S and moved to Total Artist Management, a smaller but more personal outfit. The idea was to rebuild from the ground up, and let's be honest, Courtney's been a builder since day one. But it's not easy when you're fighting algorithms, streaming politics, and an audience that's constantly distracted by 10-second dance trends. One day, her fans trended Courtney come back, and the next, they were debating cats and bow ties. That's fame in the digital age, with no. Yet through all that chaos, she kept writing, performing, and dropping snippets online that reminded everyone why she was special. And if the road got bumpy, well, Courtney's used to bumps. Remember that bus accident rumor? Compared to the music industry, that might have been the smoothest ride of her life. Still, despite the challenges, she refused to fade away quietly. Because as any real rock star knows, you can lose a label, but you never lose the rhythm. The internet and the battle for relevance. In the age of viral fame, attention spans are shorter than a commercial break, and loyalty can vanish faster than Wi-Fi at a concert. For Courtney, that meant fighting an invisible enemy, irrelevance. When she first hit the America's Got Talent stage, the internet couldn't get enough of her. But by 2022, a new crop of next big things had arrived, armed with tick filters and auto-tune galore. Meanwhile, Courtney, who relied on actual talent instead of dance trends and lip syncs, faced an uphill climb. Her loyal fans, as some affectionately called themselves, still streamed her music and filled comment sections with encouragement, but the casual crowd had moved on to whatever was trending that week. One fan joked, "She went from viral to hidden gem faster than my paycheck disappears after payday." Ouch, but also kinda true. Courtney tried adapting without losing her identity, posting acoustic covers, sharing behind-the-scenes moments, even joking about her messy hair. Rock energy, she called it. Yet social media can be cruel, and staying relevant often feels like shouting into a storm of memes. Still, she found creative ways to reintroduce herself, teaming up with indie artists, experimenting with cinematic visuals, and connecting directly with her audience through. While some wondered why she wasn't chasing chart success, others saw something rare, an artist who actually cares about the music, not just the metrics. Sure, she wasn't plastered on billboards or trending every week, but the fans who stayed, they were diehards, the kind who'd sell a kidney for concert tickets. And maybe, just maybe, that's the kind of fame that lasts. After all, clout fades, but talent doesn't, and Courtney still had plenty of both, even if the algorithms forgot her name for a while. The reflection, what Courtney's story teaches about fame. If Courtney's journey were a movie, it'd be part Rocky, part Black Mirror, and part School of Rock, a chaotic mix of triumph, tears, and a few awkward interviews. Her story shines a spotlight on what happens when pure talent meets a fame machine that moves faster than the human heart. One minute you're hailed as the savior of rock music, the next you're a meme buried under dance challenges. Courtney's experience reminds us that fame doesn't come with an instruction manual, just a million opinions and a lot of pressure. For every fan who loved her voice, there were 3 internet experts explaining what she should have done differently. It's like getting yelled at by strangers for the way you tie your shoelaces. But here's the twist: instead of crumbling under the noise, Courtney found something most artists lose early on herself. She learned that you can't measure success by trending charts or compliments. Sometimes real victory is surviving the storm with your art and sanity intact. And let's be real, in this industry, sanity deserves its own Grammy. Her authenticity, the same thing people once mocked, became her shield. Because while others were chasing fame like it was on clearance sale, she was quietly mastering her craft, writing lyrics that hit harder than any headline. As one YouTube commenter put it, she doesn't need to shout anymore, her silence says enough. Maybe that's the ultimate rock move, to stop performing for applause and start performing for purpose. In a world addicted to instant fame, Courtney's story proves that slow burns often make the light, even if they take a little longer to catch fire. The legacy, why Courtney still matters. And so, here we are years after that iconic golden buzzer moment, still talking about Courtney. That alone says something. In a world where most viral stars fade faster than cheap tattoos, Courtney remains a name people remember, whisper, and debate. Why? Because her story isn't just about fame, it's about resilience. The kid who once trembled on stage now stands as proof that talent doesn't expire just because the spotlight dims. Even when her career hit pause, even when the rumors got wild enough to qualify as sci-fi, Courtney never lashed out, never quit. She just waited, watched, and when the noise died down, she played her music again. And that, my friends, is the kind of comeback no PR campaign can fake. Today, her songs are raw diary pages set to melody, emotional, haunting, and beautifully flawed. She may not top every chart, but she's carved a lane all her own, and honestly, that's more punk rock than any mainstream success could ever be. The same voice that once stunned now belongs to an artist who answers to no one but herself. And as fans rediscover her through nostalgia, curiosity, or the magic of YouTube, recommended algorithm, one thing's clear: Courtney didn't just survive fame, she outsmarted it. Because while trends fade and headlines vanish, authenticity never goes out of style. She's living proof that the loudest voices aren't always the ones screaming, sometimes they're the ones singing softly but truthfully. So if you ever find yourself chasing applause, remember Courtney, the girl who roared, fell silent, and then found her voice again, not for fame, not for fortune, but because music was the one thing that never betrayed her. And that, ladies, is the kind of tragedy that turned into triumph, one note at a time.